In my latest video, I will share several stories, including one from the Crypto Basic, which explores how many new XRP millionaires could emerge if XRP reaches a value of $20.00. I pose this question to you. How many of you believe that you could become one of those XRP millionaires? Setting aside the rest of your net worth and other potential earnings from cryptocurrency, do you anticipate reaching a seven-figure status solely from XRP investments? For many of you, the answer may very well be yes, and I would not be surprised if that were the case. While it doesn't necessarily need to be your primary goal, XRP still holds the potential to contribute significantly to life-changing wealth, even if it doesn't align perfectly with your specific targets. Alternatively, your goals might be set even higher, and that's entirely valid. My intention is not to determine whether your expectations are right or wrong, nor can I predict where the price will ultimately go. That said, I find the topic intriguing and engaging, much like many others who enjoy discussing such possibilities. Over the past 7.5 years, I must admit that I have often calculated the potential impact on my net worth if XRP were to reach a specific price, based on the amount I hold. It's something many of us have likely done, and while it can be an entertaining exercise, there's a deeper perspective to consider. People frequently engage in similar daydreams with lottery winnings, imagining what they would do with millions. However, with XRP, there is at least a plausible opportunity for such outcomes to materialize, offering a more realistic scenario when compared to the odds of winning the lottery. XRP has established itself as a significant player in the cryptocurrency space to the extent that it could be considered a blue-chip crypto asset. Its prominence and potential make it a clear standout in the market. Recently, I emphasized this point several times to ensure that as many people as possible are aware. According to a source connected to a top 5 global bank, potentially Bank of America, Citi, or US Bank, XRP is seen as part of the big 4 cryptocurrencies. Alongside Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana, these 4 dominate the industry, with other cryptocurrencies viewed as less relevant by comparison. Additionally, there has been notable growth in XRP adoption, with 9,000 new wallets created in just 48 hours. This further underscores its expanding influence and importance within the crypto ecosystem. I have some insights to share regarding the recent $58 million 0 cents XRP transfer to Coinbase, which has sparked concern among many. The prevailing assumption is that such a transfer to Coinbase indicates an intent to sell, leading to heightened speculation. There are important details surrounding this situation that I believe are worth exploring. Before diving into the specifics, it's worth noting the exciting potential we're witnessing with XRP. We find ourselves in a moment where it's reasonable to anticipate another significant rise for XRP, similar to what we observed in November, an outcome many previously thought impossible. Let's examine this further. Over the past several months, it has been notable how many voices critical of XRP, particularly from staunch Bitcoin maximalists, have become significantly quieter. Initially, many dismissed XRP's potential, asserting that it would fail entirely. However, as time has passed, it has become evident that these critics underestimated XRP's real-world utility and strong fundamentals, even in the face of challenges such as the ongoing SEC lawsuit. Remarkably, XRP has remained within the top 10 cryptocurrencies by market capitalization for nearly half a decade, despite predictions from skeptics that it would lose all value. This resilience reflects broad investor confidence and highlights the potential many see in XRP. For those who doubted its viability, this should prompt reflection on why they were mistaken and what they might have overlooked. Ultimately, XRP's performance continues to demonstrate its staying power, and for many investors, it could represent a significant financial opportunity. It comes as no surprise that data from the community-driven XRP rich list reveals there are 71,337 wallets holding at least 50,000 XRP. Among these, some wallets have already achieved millionaire status at the current XRP price, notably those who have not yet reached millionaire status but could potentially do so if XRP reaches $20.00 are fewer than 39,320. Considering there are now over 6.5 million XRP wallets, this information aligns with expectations and highlights the distribution of XRP holdings within the community. While it is evident that most individuals may not achieve the highest level of success in this context, that does not mean it is unattainable for you. Even if you recognize that achieving such a status in this cycle is unlikely, there is still the potential to gain something deeply meaningful and transformative for yourself. This is especially true if you have diversified investments across other asset classes or within different areas of this asset class. Naturally, individual circumstances will vary, but the opportunities available remain significant. As a reminder, which I believe is particularly relevant at this point in time, we appear to be on the brink of a pivotal moment. Whether it happens today, tomorrow, next week, next month, or next quarter, I firmly believe we are nearing the time when substantial momentum will begin and transformation could unfold at any moment. It is important to acknowledge the opportunities available to everyday individuals such as myself. I consider myself an ordinary person, no different from anyone else, despite having a YouTube channel with a dedicated group of subscribers. While I am deeply grateful and genuinely humbled by the support I receive, thank you so much for that, I do not view this as something that sets me apart. I am simply someone striving to improve my financial standing, much like many of you. What is remarkable, however, is the reality of this opportunity. It is tangible, unprecedented, and unlike anything our species has experienced before. This is not merely a once-in-a-generation event, as some suggest. It is a once-in-a-species event. I find it highly unlikely, to say the least. In fact, I intended to reference this later, but I'll address it now. Take a look at this. Here is a post from chart analyst Cryptolica. I bring this up because there are already individuals who have become XRP millionaires, as evidenced by the data I previously mentioned. The reason I decided to highlight this now is that the majority of XRP holders firmly believe the asset's value will continue to rise. A sentiment I share as well. Take a look at this analysis from chart analyst Cryptolica regarding XRP's percent supply and profit, currently at 76%. Consider that figure, especially given that XRP is trading below its all-time high. Earlier this year, XRP reached $3.40, but as of now, it has pulled back to approximately $2.18. Despite this correction, 76% of holders are still in profit. This is a significant improvement compared to past years where profit percentages were much lower, often ranging between 20 and 30%, leaving the majority of investors at a loss. In the early years of holding XRP, I personally experienced periods of being in the red. However, I've always emphasized that maintaining conviction during such times is crucial. For me, that belief guided my decisions, and I acted accordingly. Currently, a significant percentage of individuals holding XRP are in profit. Consider what this indicates. If holders are maintaining their positions at this level, it reflects widespread confidence that the asset's value will rise further. If the general belief was that the price had peaked or was nearing its maximum potential, we would not see 76% of holders in profit. In such a scenario, many would have sold their positions, leaving newer buyers who wouldn't yet be in profit. This percentage would be much lower, potentially around 10%, 20%, or 30%, depending on market dynamics. The current data highlights the strong conviction of XRP holders, often referred to as diamond hands. This persistence among holders is evident in the numbers. The data itself tells the story, and while interpretations may vary, the figures demonstrate the confidence of those holding XRP. It appears that within the XRP community, there is a strong sense of commitment among its members, often referred to as diamond hands. This is further evidenced by recent data showing the addition of 9,000 new XRP wallets within just 48 hours. According to XRP Scan, the chart illustrating the number of new accounts activated over the past year reveals a notable trend. For instance, in June, the daily account activations were typically below 1,000, ranging from approximately 700 to 900 accounts per day, occasionally exceeding that. However, the current numbers indicate a significant increase despite the absence of market euphoria or widespread online searches for XRP. This suggests as the growth is occurring organically and without the influence of heightened market hype. The current trend indicates a steady increase in the number of new XRP accounts being created daily following the initial period of heightened activity. On average, this figure now ranges between 3,000 to 4,000 accounts per day, while there is some variation, occasionally exceeding 4,000 or dropping slightly below 3,000. The typical range over the past few months has remained consistent within these bounds. Notably, this represents a fourfold increase compared to the daily average observed a year ago, highlighting significant growth in XRP adoption. The number of new accounts being created has increased significantly, likely indicating a substantial rise in the number of new users joining daily. Currently, we are at a point where there is widespread consensus that the trend is likely to continue upward. The reason this belief holds merit is that historically, market peaks are characterized by a high volume of activity. At such peaks, many individuals who have made significant profits begin selling, while new entrants who are often purchasing at higher prices become the next group of holders and are no longer in profit. It is important to note that this dynamic is not currently evident in the market. The absence of these typical peak indicators suggests that we may not yet be at the top. This observation, when analyzed carefully, clearly provides valuable insights about the market's current trajectory. There is a significant number of individuals with strong conviction engaging on a daily basis. We share this belief as we feel that we identified this opportunity early enough to anticipate positive outcomes even in the current cycle. I am optimistic that the trajectory will move upward. However, if I am wrong, I am prepared to accept that outcome, though I find it unlikely that it would result in a total loss. Additionally, there is this headline: massive $58 million 0-cent XRP transfer sent to Coinbase. While it may sound alarming, I find such articles predictable at this point, as this is not my first experience encountering this type of reporting. That said, I approach these articles with some level of skepticism, as they often follow familiar patterns and occasional inaccuracies. When observing transactions involving significant amounts, such as extremely large transfers, it is highly unlikely that they are linked to an individual, as such cases would be extraordinarily rare. There may be a few exceptions, but in most scenarios, it is almost certain that these transactions involve exchanges, such as transfers between two exchange platforms. In this particular instance, I verified that it was indeed an exchange transaction. Referring to the article in question, it highlighted a transaction reported by Whale Alert, an automated tracking account. Whale Alert reported a transfer amounting to $57 million 0 cents USD from an unknown wallet to Coinbase. The concern often arises that if cryptocurrency sent to Coinbase, it may be sold immediately. However, this is not the case in this instance. By analyzing the transaction hash through BitHop, it is evident that both the source and destination are Coinbase accounts. While the specific reasons exchanges move funds between accounts may not always be disclosed, it is a standard practice carried out primarily for security purposes. This routine procedure is common across all cryptocurrency exchanges as part of their operational protocols. There is no indication here of an individual preparing to sell approximately $58 million 0 cents worth of cryptocurrency. This is simply an internal transfer, and there is no cause for alarm. I wanted to take a moment to address this topic because I've observed it happening and understand the reasoning behind it. While it may cause some concern for certain individuals, it's important to clarify that this is not something to be worried about. It's simply not happening. I encourage you to share your thoughts, but as I continue to analyze the data each day, it becomes increasingly evident that the behaviors we're seeing from XRP holders are not indicative of a market cycle peak. Instead, these behaviors align with patterns observed before the peak. It's becoming increasingly clear that more individuals are seizing the opportunity to get involved while they can. And I'm excited to share these insights with you. There's many individuals entering this space now likely wish they had discovered it even just a year ago. For those who feel that way, it's completely understandable. We all begin our journey at different times. I personally entered in 2017 and purchased my first XRP at around 21 cents, though I often find myself wishing I had started earlier when it was priced at half a penny. It's a sentiment I can relate to. However, I also recognize that many of you have been part of this journey for as long as, or even longer than I have, since I joined in late 2017. For those of you who have been part of this community for several years, that's a significant number of you, and it must feel quite rewarding at this moment. Your perseverance deserves recognition, as we have endured challenges and setbacks unlike any other crypto community. This is an indisputable fact. It would be difficult for anyone to reasonably argue otherwise, yet here we stand, stronger and progressing with growth and improvement over time. Please note, I am not a financial advisor, and no decisions to buy or sell should be based on anything I say. Relying solely on my commentary for financial decisions would be highly inadvisable.